Hello, welcome to this practice. Today we're going to do a practice for the hamstrings. So 60 minutes or so, focusing. We'll do a full rounded practice, but we'll do a lot of poses to help open the backs of the legs. So this will be perfect for you if you do a lot of running or cycling, but also just sitting, if you sit a lot. So the hamstrings are three muscles on the backs of the thighs. You're probably familiar with them and where they are. And they actually attach on the sitting bones. So the bony part of the pelvis that you can kind of feel in each buttock. So they attach there. And so when they're tight, you can imagine that they pull down on the pelvis and the whole pelvis will move. Okay, I'll try and give you a bit of a demonstration. So when the hamstrings are tighter, it pulls the sit bones and the pelvis, so it tilts forward and then it flattens the lower back. Okay, so we lose that nice natural curve that we want in the lower back. And that can lead to quite a few back problems, actually, just by having tight hamstrings. So, yeah, this isn't just a practice that will benefit your legs, but also your back, your whole body. So just come to a seated position just to start. Close your eyes. And just start to deepen your breath. Your breath can be like a whisper in the back of your throat, your ujjayi breath. I find the ujjayi breath really helpful in calming my mind. It's that whisper in the back of the throat as you inhale. And the whisper in the back of the throat as you exhale. A similar action to when you steam up a mirror with your mouth open. But just do that with your mouth closed. Just keep this breath going as we move into our first posture, which is going to be a yin posture. So you can just move your blocks to the side and just extend your right leg out and bring your left foot in to your right inner thigh. You can have a brick or a cushion under your left knee if it's quite high. And then just fold very softly over that right leg. Okay, and if it's morning time, you might feel quite tight. Don't force. We're going to stay here for 10 breaths. So kind of using these first few postures as our centering. Still those nice ujjayi breaths. Keep them going. Just using this time to really come out of your head and into your body, into the sensation in the backs of the leg. And yoga is not just about increasing flexibility in the body, but also in the mind. And how do we do that? How do we increase flexibility in the mind? Well, we just try and empty out. We just focus instead on our breath. We observe what comes up and we just let it go. Time and time again. Last breath here. Okay, and then we're going to inhale and come back up and swap legs. So left leg comes out, right leg comes in. You can put your block under your right knee if you like. And shuffle your buttocks so you can feel your sit bones nice and grounded on the mat. Take an inhale here. And then exhale to fold over your leg. The leg can be a little bit bent. Okay, for more yin style, when we're staying a little bit longer, we can keep the left knee a bit bent. The left foot doesn't have to be flexed. And the spine doesn't have to be straight. We just surrender forward. Close your eyes. Come back to that ujjayi breath, or at least your longer and smoother breaths. Just let everything else dissolve into the background of your awareness. Really let your breath and sensation in the body be at the forefront of your awareness. Make that choice time and time again. Use your next inhale to gently come back up, opening your eyes. Stretching out your right leg in front. Just bring your hands behind for a moment. Bend the knees. We're just going to windscreen wiper the legs from side to side just to loosen out a little bit. Okay, one more longer held pose before we start our flow. Both legs out in front. Caterpillar. So you can sit up on a block or a cushion if you like. Knees can be bent. Inhale. And exhale, bend over both legs quite softly. There's a bit of a roundedness to the back. Again, 10 breaths. You can count your own breaths. You can ask yourself, where do you want to be more flexible in your mind and in your life? Not just in your body. You don't have to have answers straight away, but it can just be kind of a self-inquiry. Yoga has the power to really affect all areas of our life, on and off the mat. If we're only open to it. Lovely. With your next nice big inhale, just lifting yourself back up to an upright position. Lift yourself off that block if you're on one. Bring your hands behind you, fingers pointing inwards. Bend your legs. We're just going to come to a reverse tabletop. On an inhale, lift your hips up. Breathe like this for a couple of rounds. This is a really nice counter pose to do after forward folds for the back. Lower back down. Okay, cross your legs and come forward to an all fours position. I'm going to come to cat-cow just to release the spine. So inhale, drop the belly, lift the tail, chest and chin. Exhale, draw the belly in, round the back. Inhale, drop the belly, lift tail, chest, chin. Exhale, drawing the belly in, rounding the back. Couple more at your own pace. Feel your spine, all the vertebrae working as one. You're only as young as your spine, so we want to keep it happy. Okay, calming back to center. Let's tuck the toes and lift up to a downward facing dog. And now just paddle out the feet. So walk the legs out, dropping one heel, bending the opposite knee. This is a really nice way to get into the backs of the legs. And maybe you can feel that also in your calves, which is really nice. Those ujjayi breaths still. Lovely. Look up towards your hands. Actually, we're going to walk the hands back towards the feet, so you end up in a forward fold at the back of the mat, and just keep the knees a little bit bent. You can hold on to the elbows if you like, just a very soft forward fold. Just take 2 breaths here. Bring your hands back down. Walk back out, kind of like a monkey, back to that downward facing dog. And then walk your feet towards your hands so you end up in a forward fold at the top of your mat. This time we're going to bring the hands behind the back. interlace the fingers. And lift the hands away from the back, just opening the chest and the shoulders a little bit in this forward fold. 2 breaths here. Knees can most definitely be bent. Okay, releasing the hands down towards the feet. Let's inhale and just do our half forward fold. So hands can come onto the legs as you straighten out the spine. And then exhale to fold back over the legs. We'll do that 2 more times with breath. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold back down. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold back down. Now we're going to bend the knees and roll up to standing. So keep the spine quite rounded as you slowly, vertebra by vertebra, lift up to an upright position. Once you're upright, just rolling those shoulders back a few times. Although we're working mostly with the lower body, it's still really nice to add in a few shoulder movements as well. Okay, I'm going to do a few half sun salutes to start. So from the top of your mat, inhale, ground through your feet, lift your arms up, palms touch overhead. Exhale, fold forward over your legs, knees can be bent. Inhale, half lift, hands onto the legs, long spine. Exhale, fold back down. Inhale all the way up, a little bend into your knees, arms out to either side, palms touch overhead. Exhale, hands to your heart. 2 more, inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, straighten the spine, half lift. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, bend in the knees, use the ground to lift you up, palms touch overhead. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold back down. Inhale, rise up. Palms touch. Exhale, hands to heart. Moving into Sun Salutation A. Inhale, lift your arms up. Exhale, fold forward over your legs. Inhale, half lift. You might keep your hands down this time. Now you're a bit more open in the legs. Exhale, back to plank. Inhale, plank. Exhale, lower the knees, come down onto the belly. Inhale, little lift into your cobra, just a baby one. Exhale, lower back down. Tuck your toes and push back to your downward facing dog. We're going to stay for 5 breaths. With your next inhale though, lift your right leg into the air, keeping the foot flexed. Feeling how that increases the stretch in the back of your left leg. Try and lift that heel into the air, that right heel. Lower that right foot back down. We'll do the other side. Inhale. Left leg lifts up. Flex through the left foot. Just a bit more of an active stretch through the legs. 1 more breath. Lowering that leg down. Inhale, look up to your hands, step your feet forward, find your half forward lift at the top of your mat. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, little bend in the knees, push yourself back up, palms touch overhead. Exhale, hands to heart. Take one breath in and out. Inhale, arms come up again. Palms touch overhead. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, step back to your plank. Inhale, plank. Exhale, lower down knees. Come to your belly. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, lower back down. Tuck your toes, push back. Downward facing dog. This time we're going to inhale, lift the right leg up into the air. 3-leg dog again. Circle that right ankle, just releasing any popping. Look towards your hands, and we're going to try and step that right leg through, that right foot through between the hands. Drop the left knee. A little bit of a lunge. Just take a moment here, just feeling into the hips. And we're going to come into a half splits. Okay, so you're just straightening out that front leg. Now you might need your block. I'll just demonstrate what to do. If you feel that you can't have your fingertips down, you can just be up a bit higher on your block, maybe in your left hand. Or if you've got 2 blocks, you can have one under each hand. Okay, and now we want to flex this right foot. Okay, so the toes towards the head. And the knee can be a little bit bent, the right knee, if it feels too intense. We're going to breathe here for 3 more rounds. Okay, coming back forward again to that lunge position. Hands down, step back, downward facing dog. Just bend and straighten both knees at the same time in your downward dog, just to release the legs, and then come back to stillness and just observe the difference between the left and the right side. Is it noticeable? Inhale. Actually, just step your right foot just slightly more into center. I always like to do that for some reason when I'm about to lift into my 3-leg dog. I just shuffle that other foot into center a bit more. Circle your left ankle in the air in your 3-leg dog. Breathe. Ground through your hands. And then step that left foot through. Drop the right knee. Maybe your hips feel a bit tighter on this side. Just observe, just breathe. Okay, and then we're going to straighten that leg out. You can have your block in your right hand, whatever height you need it to be. You can have it lowest, middle, or high. There's 3 stages with this block. I would really recommend getting one if you don't have one. Toes towards the head, so make sure that foot is flexed. Spine is long. We're trying not to round the lower back in our forward folds. So as I mentioned earlier, the hamstrings attached to the pelvis, and then that already kind of, if they're tight, that tugs down on the lower back. So we don't want to do that even more. We want to try and keep the lower back straight if possible. Okay, coming forward again, back to that lunge, hands down, step back, downward dog. Just walk the legs out. Notice how more open they feel. Mine just feels so much more open just after that. Okay, we've got quite a lot of poses to go. Okay, so just let this be an invitation. In each hamstring stretch from now on, you don't have to go to your full 100% push, okay? Just take it slow and feel in. Okay, inhale, look up towards your hands, step your feet forward, take a half lift at the top of your mat. Exhale, fold over your legs. Inhale, rise up, ground through the feet, palms touch overhead. Exhale, hands to heart. Just take one breath, feel the body. Inhale, rise the arms up, palms touch overhead. Exhale, fold forward over your legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, back to plank, hands down, step back. Inhale, plank. Exhale, lower down onto the belly. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, tuck toes, push back, down dog. From your downward dog, on your next inhale, lift your right leg up into the air. 3-leg dog. This time we're going to open a bit through the hip. Okay, so try and kind of stack that right hip on top of the left as you lift that right knee up into the air. Breathe, a nice open space in your side body, in your front of your right hip. Okay, turning back to center. Step that right foot through and plant your left heel to the right. And your left toes come out to the left. We're going to lift up, ready for Trikonasana, triangle pose. Inhale here, ground through your feet, zip up in your lower belly. And then exhale, reach forward and tilt down. Bring your right hand onto your right leg as you lift that left arm up into the air. Breathe here. And it's likely you can feel this in your inner seam of your right leg. So that's one of your hamstrings there on the inner seam. You can probably feel this too in your side body, opening up. Try and stay open in your heart. Last breath. Inhale, press down through your feet to lift back up with strong legs. And then exhale, windmill the arms back down as you lift that back heel. Then step back to your downward dog. Other side, inhale, left leg lifts up. Exhale, step that left foot through between the hand. Plant the right heel down, right toes out to the right. And then lift up. So the alignment of that back foot, it can be a little bit turned in, okay? Just a little bit turned in, about 45 degrees or so. Inhale here. Exhale, reach forward, tilt down into your lovely Trikonasana. Breathe. That top hand can also be on the hip or behind the body. Some people like to take it behind, try and reach for that left leg just to open that top shoulder. Really, the options are endless, just what feels good with that top arm. Inhale, lift back up, strong legs, draw your belly in. Exhale, bend into that front knee as you lift the back heel. Bring the hands down and step back to your downward facing dog. We'll stay for 5 breaths. Any movement that feels necessary, take it. If you prefer to be still, you can be still. But if you need a child's pose, take a child's. So child's, we just drop the knees. And rest the bum to the heels and maybe the head on the hands. Okay, so you can always take child's pose in your practice if you need to. If you need to get your breath back, if you just need to rest. Okay, on your next inhale, look up towards your hands. Step your feet forward. Find your half lift again at the top of your mat. Long spine. Exhale, fold into your legs. Inhale, keep the knees a little bit bent as you press the ground away and come all the way up. Palms touch overhead. And then exhale, hands to your heart. Take a moment, feel the body. Take a deep breath. And then release. So we're going to come into another forward fold. So we're going to come into big toe pose. So it's a little bit more active than forward folds we've done until now. So we're going to inhale and lift the arms up. And then exhale to fold forward over the legs. And use your index finger and your middle finger like little hooks that wrap around underneath the big toes. And you kind of draw yourself down. On your by pulling a little bit on your big toes, you're giving them a little loving tug. Knees are bent actually, and your belly, I'm going to turn to the side to show you, your belly can touch your thighs maybe. Knees can be bent, and just the intention to straighten them gives you the stretch in the backs of the legs. So that's what we're looking for, just sensation. It doesn't matter how far down you are. You might not be able to come down as low as me. You might be way lower. Doesn't matter. Just feel into it. Close your eyes. I'm just going to take 2 more breaths. Like this. Okay, then release your big toes. Just take your halfway lift on your next inhale. And then exhale, fold back down, bend the knees a bit. Inhale to come all the way up, press through the feet. Palms can touch overhead. And then exhale, hands to heart. Do a side stretch, so inhale, lift your arms up. Again, palms touch overhead, and then exhale, just take a side stretch over to the left side of your mat. Take another full breath here. Inhale, come back up, and exhale the other way. Full breath here. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, hands back to heart. Release your hands. Okay, so from the top of your mat, step back with your left foot. And then turn your feet parallel, because we're going to do a series of wide leg forward folds now. So bring your hands first to your hips. Toes are pointing forward. And feet just a comfortable distance apart, so you still feel stable. You haven't just got them so wide that you're kind of about to collapse. Inhale here. And then exhale to fold forward, leading with the heart, leading with a nice long spine. You might keep your hands on your hips, especially if you're kind of 90 degrees or higher. That's as far as you can go. That's perfect. Just stay there and breathe. If you can go a bit lower, feel free. You might slide your hands down your legs. You might bring your hands onto the mat. You might even like to put a block under your hands. And then you might think, oh, I'd like my feet to be a bit wider apart or a bit closer together. Once you're forward, you might be able to tell. Breathe here. And those long Ujjayi breaths. Two more. Okay, and then bring your hands back to your hips. Activate your legs, so it might mean bending the knees slightly, pressing through the feet, and inhale, lift back up to an upright position. Bring your hands behind your back. We're going to come into another one, but with the shoulders drawn back. So interlace the fingers behind, lift the chest, inhale. With your exhale, fold forward. Again, we'll stay 4 or 5 long Ujjayi breaths. Let this one be a little bit more about your shoulders, so the knees can be a little bit bent. The sound of your breath soothing you, soothing your mind and soul. Helping you come back to the present, to the mat space where we can process all of our stuff. Inhale, press into your feet. Come back up, arms can stay as they are as you rise. Exhale, release. Just take a breath in an upright position. I'm going to do one more forward fold. This time holding the big toes again. So you might need to bend your knees quite a bit on the way down, that's okay. Okay, inhale, hands on your hips. Exhale, fold forward. Take hold of your big toes with your index finger and middle finger. Wrapping through between the big toe and the second toe. Wrapping through and then underneath the big toe. Knees can be a little bit bent or a lot bent. Breathe. If that feels too much to hold the toes, don't do it. Two more breaths. Release the big toes. Bring the hands to your hips. And inhale, press through the feet. You can have a little bend in the knees to help you come all the way back up. Lovely. Okay, we're going to now turn the right foot back towards the top of the mat. The left foot turns in. Have your block ready at the top because you might need it in a second. Coming into a pyramid pose. Okay, so your left foot turns to face the top of the mat as well. Your right foot's facing the top. Your hips are squared. Inhale here. Exhale to fold forward over your front leg. And you can keep the hands on the hips, feel free, or you can bring your hands onto blocks either side of that right foot, whatever level you want them at, or you can just bring the hands down next to the foot, not too attached to where you are in the pose. Breathe into the back of that right leg. Two more breaths. Okay, we're going to twist this out a little bit. So you can keep your left hand onto that block or onto the floor, or hold onto your left ankle. Right hand, right hip. And just twist a bit to the right for your your revolved triangle. You can lift that right arm up into the air if you like, or can keep it on the hip. Breathe deeply. Last big breath. Turn back to center. Okay, we're going to just spin this back to our wide leg forward fold. Take the block with you because we're going to move to the back of the mat eventually. I just want to do a little bit of a twist in the middle in that forward fold. So just bring your right hand down onto the floor or onto your block, and inhale to lift the left arm up. Exhale to bring it back down. Inhale to lift the right arm up. Exhale to bring it back down. One more on each side. Inhale to lift the left arm up. Exhale, bring it back down. Inhale, right arm up. Exhale, bring it back down. Okay, turn towards the back of your mat for your pyramid pose. So the left leg is the one in front, the straight one. You can have your block in your right hand if you like, or you can have a block under each hand. You can have a bit of a bend in the back of that left knee if you like. Just breathe here. How does it feel for you? Really come into that space of feeling rather than thinking. Okay, we're going to keep the right hand down either on the block, on the floor, or on the left ankle. Turn it into your revolved triangle. So left hand can come onto your left hip. As you turn towards the left side of your mat a bit. That back heel might lift a little bit. Let it if it really wants to. Don't force it down. Or step it in a bit closer. Could be another option. Breathe deep. One more breath. Turning back to center. Remove your block. And turn back to that wide leg forward fold. We're going to turn the feet out diagonally, so the heels turn in and the feet turn out, the toes turn out. And you're just going to ninja from side to side, okay? So one leg straightens and the other leg bends. And just a nice ninja. Okay, and then returning to face the back of your mat, the front of your mat, sorry. Bring your hands down and come back to your downward dog. And then lower your knees down and come into your child's pose. So you can have your knees together and your feet together, or you can have your knees apart but your feet together. I always like to rest my hands on top of my head on top of my hands. And just resting here. Still your ujjayi breaths. See if you can breathe into the back of your body so you feel your back ribs expand as you inhale and soften as you exhale. Okay, so we're going to gently press ourselves back up to a seated position. Grab your block. You're going to sit on top of it or your cushion. If you need it, if you don't need it, don't worry. I'm going to come into a wide leg seated forward fold. So bring your legs as wide apart as is comfortable, about 90 degrees or so, maybe wider if you've got that flexibility. Bring your hands in between your legs. Inhale here. Exhale, fold forward so that hinge comes from the hips first. It doesn't come from the back. You lead with the heart. And you can bring the hands down perhaps, palms down. We're just going to stay for 5 breaths. Breathe into sensation. Trying to keep the feet flexed in this one, so you're pushing through the heels and keeping the toes kind of towards the knees, if that makes sense. Quite an active pose. Okay, inhale. And come back up. Slowly bring your knees back together, one at a time. Come off your block. And we're going to come to lie down on the mat with the knees bent. Just take a moment to really let the body soften. We're going to do our figure 4 pose, so right ankle over left knee, and then maybe lifting that left foot from the mat and holding behind the left thigh. But we're not going to keep it really still. We're just going to move the hips from side to side. Maybe do a little circle with the hips. Okay, and then bring the left leg back down. Take hold of the big toe, the right big toe. And bring it into your half happy baby. So you might also hold the pinky edge of the right foot with your right hand. And then straighten out that left leg. If it doesn't feel good to kind of straighten it and keep it down, lift it up off the floor a little bit and it will just balance the pelvis. Breathe here. Lowering that left foot back down, bending the left leg, and then releasing the right foot next to it. Just windscreen wiper the legs from side to side. A few times, just loosening out. And then bringing your left ankle on top of your right knee for your figure 4 on this side. Maybe lifting the right foot from the mat, holding behind the right leg. And start with just little movements, maybe from side to side. And then maybe circle. Circle the hips and just feel in to all the muscles around your hip joint. Okay, bringing that right foot back down. Take hold of the left big toe or the pinky side of the left foot with the left hand. Feel half happy baby. Maybe straighten that right leg out. Maybe lift that right leg a little bit off the floor, pointing the toes. Breathe here. Just feeling into the hips, the inner seams of the hips, the groins, wherever you feel that stretch. Okay, and then lower that right foot back down, bring the right foot back in, bending the knee, and then bring the left foot down next to it. We're just going to windscreen wipe the legs from side to side. Just loosening back out. Okay, let's come into a bridge pose. So keep your legs bent and bring your feet down. Bring your arms alongside your body. Palms facing down. And then inhale to lift up the hips. Exhale, stay here. Keep breathing. It's really nice to do a little back bend after so many forward folds. See if you can press down mainly with your feet. And keep your buttocks a little bit soft if you can. See how that feels. Okay, gently roll back down from the top of the spine to the bottom. Windscreen wipe the legs again, taking the arms out of the way. Okay, let's finish with a twist. So, pressing into your feet, lifting your hips off the floor. Shuffling the bum over to the right and dropping it down. Lift the knees, lift the feet off the floor, and then drop the knees over to the left. Arms can come out wide. Breathe deeply. So it's nice to look the opposite way to the knees. Just wringing out the spine, and you get a little twist in the neck as well. Okay, and then turning the head back to center. Slowly lifting the knees back to center one by one. Shuffle the bum over to the left. Lift the feet up and drop the knees to the right for your twist. Again, look the opposite way to the knees if you like. Breathe deep. Feel that nice twist in your middle, your torso, stimulating your organs. And most importantly, neutralizing the spine after all of those forward folds. Twists help us to reset. Okay, turn the head back to center. Lift the legs up one by one. You might like to just windscreen the legs again. And let's just finish with a full happy baby. So bend both knees. Take hold of the pinky edges of both feet. And maybe rock a little bit from side to side. Lovely. Maybe you want to straighten your legs out a little bit, gripping the big toes. Maybe just one at a time. Just feeling into that, if that movement, if that range is there or not. Doesn't really matter if it is or isn't. Just exploring without force. Okay, and then come into your full savasana, straightening out your legs. And your arms, palms facing up alongside the body. Close your eyes. I'm going to sit up to talk you through it, but stay there. And just rest. Allow your whole body to become really soft. You can let go of all control of breathing. Just let your natural breath come back. And remember that question that we asked earlier about how can I become more flexible in my mind or in my life? See what comes up, if anything does come up. For me, it's allowing a bit more flexibility around kind of time frames I put on certain things for myself, projects and things. What is it for you? Where can you be a bit more flexible in your life? Observe around your body. Where can you soften more? Where are you gripping? Unclench. Stop holding on so much. Allow everything to melt, all tension from your being. Melts away. Okay, from here, just starting to deepen your breath again into your belly. Start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Maybe circle your wrists and your ankles. Maybe stretch your arms overhead like you're just waking up in the morning. Again, waking up for the second time today. This time a little bit more open and relaxed. Roll onto one side of your body when you're ready. Take a moment there, feel the earth. And then press yourself back up to an upright, seated position. Bring your hands together at your heart space. Just acknowledging how you're feeling now. And bowing your head towards your heart, sealing your practice. Thank you for joining me. Namaste.